Hey there. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my weekly planning system. And I've built out an app, a free to use public app that you can use for this at biograph.rootedinsight.co. And you don't need this app to use it. You can do it on pencil and paper. You can do it in Notion, Google Docs, basically anywhere where you can kind of create a template for yourself, you can use this. So I'm going to walk through on this app that I created, but just keep in mind that you can do this anywhere. So the way that this works, in particular with the app, is I'm going to put in my birthday. So it's June 20th of June, 2000, and it's going to show me a breakdown of my life in weeks. And so the way that I plan is I plan on a weekly basis. I use Stephen Covey's Roles and Goals framework, and at the beginning of each week on Sunday, or kind of at the end of the previous week on Sunday, I plan my next week. And so I do a reflection of the previous week, and then I set the identities in which I'm going to honor in the coming week, and then the activities for those identities. So here's a breakdown of my life in weeks, and it shows me how many weeks I've lived and how many weeks based on a lifespan of 90 years old that I'm going to live. And you can kind of see if I zoom out here what it looks like, and it gives you like a really high level overview of your life, which is cool to see. Okay, so now actually going into the weekly planning, if you click, so you can do this, you can go in, you can put in your birthday, and then if you click on the most recent week, it's going to give you the sign in prompt. You can sign in or register by signing in with Google. And now that I'm logged in, I have this prompt that comes up that says add role. And so basically a role is an identity that you're going to carry out for the week. I'm going to add one of those and I'm going to select an identity. And so let's say business owner is one of my identities. That's something that I want to honor this coming week, and I want to set some activities around honoring that identity. So I'm going to put this in here. And then within the role, there's these three sections. There's the most important activity, activities, and then a stretch activity or a 10x activity. And so the most important activity, this is borrowing from frameworks like Eat That Frog, essentialism, first things first, is the number one thing, the priority that you want to accomplish in order to honor this activity. And so as a business owner, I'm making this video on our Rooted Insight YouTube channel. And so as a business owner, perhaps my most important activity this week is launching this life tracker or biograph, we're calling it. And so that's the most important thing I can do this week. And if I accomplish that this week, then I've successfully honored this identity of business owner. Now, there's some other things that I want to do in the business this week. And so we're hiring a graphic designer. And so compile onboarding docs for graphic designer. We are working on our weekly intention setting system. And so finalize weekly intention setting system. And maybe one more goal, create a content calendar. It's something we want to start producing more content. So create a content calendar database with the content plan. So now these are activities that honor my role of being a business owner. However, it's not a to-do list, it's more of a can-do list. And so the only to-do here on this in these sections is this most important activity. That's the only thing that I really need to do and want to do in order to honor this role. These other things are kind of like once I've done this most important activity, then these other things are things I can do. And then finally, there's this stretch activity or this 10x activity. And there's a really good book by Grant Cardone, the 10x rule. And the idea is, what can you do that's 10 times what you would normally do? And so that's the 10x part. The stretch part is just thinking about what's going to push your growth edge. So what's something that you could do this week in this identity that is a little bit challenging for you, but would also be a good growth opportunity and would be valuable. And so for me, this week, let me think about this. Something potentially challenging, but would also push me would be to make a product hunt post for the biograph. And that's not something I've done. I haven't posted on Product Hunt before, and I think it'd be really valuable to get this out in front of people so that other people can track their weeks. And so that's the idea. So I've created one role, and for each week I create 4 roles. And so I'm not going to go through that whole process again, but just to kind of like give you a sense of what that looks like. One week, one role might be business owner, another might be friend, another might be traveler. I'm currently in Guatemala sitting in a coffee shop, and so thinking about what I want to do on my travels and what's going to be important there. And another role might be personal caretaker. And so I'll go through and I'll put the most important activity. So as a friend, schedule a virtual gathering with my friends around the world. So I have a bunch of friends who are off in different places now. I think it'd be good to get together. This is what I think would be the most important thing. As a traveler, sign up for another week of Spanish classes. I think I'm traveling through South America, and I think it'd be really valuable to Central and South America, and I think it would be really valuable to improve my Spanish. And so signing up for another week of classes would be great. As a personal caretaker, streamline my personal finance, we'll say. And so now I've created these roles and I've put in my most important activities. And then what I typically do next is go through and add the remainder of the activities and the kind of stretch activity that I would use to push myself. And so that's pretty much it. And I do this every single week on Sunday in the evening before my next week starts. I have a little reflection prompt, a few reflection prompts that I'll do before that. And so I highly suggest reflecting at the end of the week. And then that becomes a valuable tool for when you're going to launch into your next week, thinking about how did the last week go? What roles did I carry out? What identities did I carry out in my last week? What do I want to continue to carry out? How do I want my identity to manifest itself this week? And then I go through and I do this roles and goals. And so it's a really powerful framework. There's so much baked in here that's under the hood. So you have Stephen Covey's rules and goals. You have essentialism, eat that frog, first things first. You have 10x rule, pushing your growth edge. And it fits in naturally. And so I encourage you to start a routine of every Sunday doing a weekly plan. You can use this framework. You can use this tool even if you want. You can make your own version. I've been using this for the past 6 years now and is by far the most productivity enhancing tool that I have in my productivity toolkit. So I hope you find this helpful. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. You can reach out to us. You can reach out to me at curtis@rootedinsight.co. And looking forward to seeing you in the next video.